Hello, I will be presenting on the Sinaloa Cartel. Some background: the Sinaloa Cartel was founded in the 1980s by Joaquin Guzman Loera, also known as El Chapo. It is responsible for drug trafficking, mass quantities of methamphetamine, marijuana, cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl within the United States. Besides drug trafficking, it is also involved in arms trafficking as well as bulk cash smuggling. The DEA has mentioned that the Sinaloa Cartel is Mexico's oldest and most established drug trafficking organization. It currently controls 40 to 60% of Mexico's drug trade. It is a lucrative organization as it earns approximately $3 billion in profits, and it is estimated to be present in 50 countries and operates in 17 Mexican states. This organization is important to research as the DEA has argued that it is the greatest threat to the United States, as well as the greatest drug trafficking influence. Besides this, it is also a security threat to both the US and Mexico. These two maps were provided by the DEA in the 2015 and 2016 National Drug Threat Assessment. Just shows the Sinaloa Cartel presence in the United States. The Sinaloa Cartel is represented in the color orange, and we can see here in 2015, most of the United States, with the exception of New Mexico and this part of Texas, have Sinaloa Cartel presence. On the other hand, 1 year later, this has changed, and New Mexico now has a much larger Sinaloa Cartel presence, except with the exception of this corner right here. However, it is interesting to see the comparison between both years. Unfortunately, I could not find any more updated data. However, it would be interesting to see what this presence is like in 2020. So how do crime groups mobilize? Morcelli et al. Argues that there are push and pull factors. Push factors include factors that drive crime groups from a setting, such as a high visibility of law enforcement, versus pull factors are those that draw a criminal group to a setting. And this can include supply and demand for drugs, as we're talking about the Sinaloa Cartel, reduced border restrictions, this is a transnational organization that does cross borders, and new market opportunities. Where can they go to continue their operations besides Mexico, and where are there those opportunities to continue expanding what they have already created? To expand on the last point of seizing opportunities, criminal groups are likely to emerge when they have access to a lot of people, as they are needed to facilitate and coordinate criminal operations. Furthermore, it is argued that crime groups are based on flexible and international networks that operate as service providers in both countries. Therefore, there are participants that work in small subgroups in different countries, which control different aspects of the drug production, trafficking, and distribution processes. With the Sinaloa Cartel, it actually operates like a federation of allied factions. Therefore, there are alliances and breakaway cells that operate in different locations, not just in Mexico. These locations can include the US, Europe, Asia, Africa, different places. A little bit about the criminal mobility of the Sinaloa Cartel in Europe. It actually has an alliance with a Romanian criminal group, and together they work to smuggle narcotics into the United Kingdom. They use heavy goods vehicles, which can allow a lot of cocaine to be brought into the UK, and previous interdictions have not stopped the group, neither of them. Recently, this month in Spain and Italy, 380 kilos of cocaine were seized. 3 people were arrested in Spain, and it is said that they have some connection to the Sinaloa Cartel, and this just demonstrates the intent to expand and open more markets in other places. The US and just in general, the Sinaloa Cartel has used submarines, airplanes, trains, frozen sharks, drones, catapults, different ways to smuggle and transport their drugs. However, between the US and Mexico, illicit drugs are mainly smuggled through Mexico's border with California, Arizona, New Mexico, and West Texas. Besides using illegal methods, they also use legal ports of entry and hide drugs in vehicles, buses, and trailers. Also, the Sinaloa Cartel has partnered with street gangs such as the MS-13 in order to sell their drugs to consumers. This map here is based on testimony from a former Sinaloa operative. It is interesting to see because the claims include that the drugs start in Mexico, and from there they either travel to Chicago, from which they are distributed to the East Coast, or to Canada, or to Los Angeles. And if they don't go to Chicago, they start in Los Angeles, and from there they go to Chicago, the East Coast, and it just becomes a cycle. It is interesting to see that this is one of the most likely many trafficking routes that the Sinaloa Cartel has and that we have no knowledge of, as that is secret information that they keep within their organization. Nevertheless, it is an interesting chart and visual to see. Some of the conclusions of this presentation include that the Sinaloa cartel continues to operate in the present day, regardless of the fact that its leader is in prison for life. It operates like a business with various locations and branches. It is a large, sophisticated organization, and it has assigned roles within the organization and within the subgroups located in different countries. The war on drugs has not stopped illegal drug use or the smuggling of drugs into the US, and it is located in Mexico, but it has emerged in other countries. This just demonstrates the intent to continue expanding into other countries around the world. Some of the limitations include the fact that there needs to be updated data on cartel presence in the US. What I found, for example, at the beginning is from the latest 2016. There's not much on 2020, and it'd be interesting to see what it is like now as years have passed. And there is lack of data regarding operations in other countries and trafficking routes. This could be due to the fact that some of the information may be classified, and a lot of the information they keep within their organization as it is clandestine in nature. Thank you.